My girlfriend's secret lover texted her. He's so oblivious, it's almost sad. I replied, yeah, too bad he just got the lease transferred to your name. Her screaming call came seconds later. I just turned off my phone and walked away. I'm 32, living in Chicago, working as a software engineer. My girlfriend, Sarah, is 29 and works in marketing. We'd been together for 3 years, living together for 2. Everything seemed fine, or so I thought. Lately, Sarah had been acting differently. She started working late more often, became protective of her phone, and was less affectionate. I attributed it to work stress and didn't think much of it. I trusted her. One evening, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed. I glanced at it and saw a message preview. He's so oblivious, it's almost sad. My heart sank. I opened the message thread and saw months of conversations between her and a guy named Mike. They talked about their feelings, their plans, and how clueless I was. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I decided to gather evidence. I took screenshots of their conversations and saved them to a secure folder. I also started recording her phone calls when possible. I wanted to be prepared. Our apartment lease was up for renewal. I contacted our landlord and explained the situation. I asked if it was possible to transfer the lease solely to Sarah's name. After some paperwork, it was done. A few days later, Mike sent another message to Sarah. I can't wait until he's out of the picture. I couldn't take it anymore. I replied from her phone. Yeah, too bad he just got the lease transferred to your name. Seconds later, Sarah called me, screaming and crying. I didn't answer. I turned off my phone, packed my essentials, and left. I stayed with a friend for a few days before finding my own place. It's been a few weeks since then. Sarah has tried to contact me multiple times, but I haven't responded. I've started therapy to process everything. It's been tough, but I'm healing. To anyone going through something similar, trust your instincts. Don't ignore the signs. And remember, you deserve honesty and respect in a relationship. After I left, I thought that would be the end of it. I imagined Sarah would be pissed, embarrassed maybe, but she'd eventually get over it and move on with her secret boyfriend. But of course, nothing's ever that clean. About a week later, I got a knock on the door at my new place. It was early in the morning, too early for someone to just drop by without a reason. I looked through the peephole and froze. It was Sarah. She looked like hell. No makeup, hair messy, eyes swollen. I didn't want to open the door, but I did. Curiosity, or maybe just closure, I don't know. She stepped in without asking and just stood there in the middle of the room, staring at me like I'd just betrayed her. I didn't say anything. I just waited. After a minute of silence, she said, "You ruined my life." I almost laughed. I kept my voice calm and asked, "Was I supposed to keep paying the rent while you slept with someone else?" She didn't answer that. She just sat down on my couch and started crying. Like, full-on sobbing. At first I thought it was guilt. But no, it wasn't that. Turns out Mike, the guy she was cheating with, ghosted her. Right after he found out she was now the only one on the lease, he bailed. Blocked her everywhere. Changed his number. Moved out of town. I didn't even have to do anything to him. He just disappeared the moment she became his responsibility. She was stuck with rent she couldn't afford and no backup plan. She said she came to ask if we could talk, maybe work things out. I told her that was not going to happen. Then, it got weirder. 2 nights later, I started getting texts from an unknown number. Stuff like, "You better watch your back," and she told me everything. I ignored the first couple, figured it was someone trying to stir shit. But then I got a picture. It was me, outside my job. Someone was following me. I went to the cops, filed a report, but without a clear threat or a known suspect, they couldn't do much. I changed my routine, parked in different spots, always checked over my shoulder. Then one day, I got a call from an unknown number while I was at work. I let it go to voicemail. When I listened to it later, it was Sarah, crying again. She said she thought Mike was following her too now. Said she had heard something outside her window the night before, saw someone standing near her car the next morning. I didn't know whether to believe her or not. It could have been guilt, paranoia, or real. But something about her voice told me it was real this time. And that freaked me out more than I thought it would. I was out of her life. She was out of mine. But whatever mess she brought in was still hanging around, and somehow, I was still caught in the middle of it. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do next. I don't want to get dragged back into her chaos, but if someone's actually stalking both of us, that's not something I can just ignore. And the worst part? There are still some things she hasn't told me. She said Mike wasn't the only one. When she said that Mike wasn't the only one, I just stood there, staring at the screen, the voicemail still playing in my hand. My stomach dropped like I'd stepped off a ledge in my own apartment. She didn't go into details. Just that line. Just enough to wreck my peace again. I didn't call her back. I couldn't. I didn't want to give her that power again. But the words stuck with me. Not the only one. So what the hell else was I missing? The next day, I started doing some digging. I still had those screenshots from her phone. I hadn't read every message. Back then, I was too angry, too hurt to go through them all. So I opened the folder again and started scrolling. That's when I found a name I didn't remember seeing the first time: Brandon. It wasn't as frequent as Mike, but the messages were there. Flirty, suggestive. It started way back, maybe a year into our relationship. He worked with her. One of those work husbands, I guess. I remembered her mentioning him once or twice. Didn't think anything of it. But the text didn't lie. They weren't just friendly. They hooked up. She even sent him pictures. The timeline made me feel sick. She was already seeing Brandon while sleeping next to me every night, then moved on to Mike, or maybe overlapped both. It wasn't just cheating. It was a whole pattern. A system. So I called one of her old friends, Jen. We weren't close, but we'd hung out a few times, and she always seemed like someone who knew more than she said. I told her I needed to ask a few things about Sarah. She hesitated, then said, I didn't want to get involved, but Sarah has always been like this. She's restless. She needs constant attention. She cheats when she gets bored, or when she feels like she's not being adored every second. She hides it well. Jen told me there was at least one more guy she knew about. Someone Sarah had met on a business trip in New York. Just a weekend fling, but apparently he wired her money a few times afterward. Said he was married. My head was spinning. This wasn't just some emotional slip-up. Sarah was living a whole different life behind my back. And then, as if the universe wanted to keep slapping me, I got another message. A burner account on Instagram. No profile pic, no name. Just a DM that said, you think Mike ghosted? He didn't. Followed by a picture. It was a blurry photo of what looked like a hospital waiting room. And Mike, sitting in the corner, head down, bandages on his hand. No explanation. No context. I tried messaging back, but the account was gone seconds later. I didn't know what to make of it. Was it some scare tactic? A weird game? Or was Mike actually in some kind of trouble? So now, I had 3 choices. Keep digging, walk away completely, or do something reckless and confront Sarah again. That night, I got home, poured myself a drink, and tried to breathe. I left my phone on the table and went to shower. When I came back, I had 3 missed calls. All from a number I didn't recognize. No voicemails this time. Just silence. But when I looked out my window, across the street, there was a black car parked that I hadn't seen before. And someone sitting in the driver's seat, facing my building. I watched the car for almost an hour. It didn't move. No one got out. The engine was off. Just sitting there like a shadow that didn't belong. I finally closed my blinds and tried to pretend I wasn't feeling watched. But something about it didn't sit right. Next morning, the car was gone. But I wasn't dumb enough to think that meant it was over. Later that day, I did the thing I swore I wouldn't do. I called Sarah. She picked up on the first ring, like she'd been waiting. Her voice was quiet. Are you okay? She asked, like she hadn't been the one to set this storm in motion. I told her we needed to talk. In person. Neutral place. She suggested a little coffee shop in River North we used to go to. I agreed. I got there early, sat in the back. I had my phone on record, just in case. When she walked in, she looked worse than before. Thinner. Hollow eyes. But still trying to act composed. She sat across from me, barely making eye contact. I got straight to it. Who was the guy in the hospital? And don't say Mike disappeared. She looked up, jaw clenched. Then she started crying. Again. She told me Mike didn't ghost her, he OD'd. She said after I left, he spiraled. He thought she was going to leave me, and they'd start a life together. But when she showed him the lease, told him what I did, he freaked. Said he wasn't ready. He had his own wife. A kid. She didn't know about either until then. After that, she tried calling him, but he didn't answer. Next thing she knew, she got a call from his brother, who found Mike unconscious in his apartment. Pills and vodka. He survived. But barely. The messages from the unknown number? She said they weren't from her. She swore someone else knew. Maybe Mike's wife. Maybe someone else entirely. And then she dropped the next bomb. I think I'm pregnant. My brain just stopped. I stared at her, waiting for the rest. She said she hadn't told anyone. Didn't even confirm it with a doctor yet. But she missed 2 periods and felt off. And it might be yours. I stood up. Not because I was angry. I just couldn't breathe sitting down. What do you want from me, Sarah? I asked. Do you even know who you are anymore? She looked at me, really looked at me for the first time in weeks. I don't, she said. I don't know who I am without someone needing me, wanting me. I was stupid. I ruined everything. I sat back down. We talked for another hour. She admitted she'd cheated with at least 3 people during our relationship. That she never wanted to hurt me but didn't know how to stop. That every time she felt insecure, she reached for someone new to validate her. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I was past that. I asked her what she planned to do about the pregnancy. She said she'd go to the doctor alone. She didn't want anything from me unless it was mine. And even then, she said she wouldn't ask me to stay. I just needed you to know, she said. When we left the coffee shop, she tried to hug me. I stepped back. She understood. Over the next few weeks, things unraveled completely. Jen, the friend who'd warned me, told me that Sarah's reputation at work was catching up with her. Word had gotten around about Mike, about the affairs. She was put on leave. I got another message from that same anonymous account, this time saying you should have never trusted her. I blocked it. I stopped answering unknown calls. I moved again. Told almost no one where. She texted me after the doctor confirmed the pregnancy. It wasn't mine. That text broke something in me, but it also freed me. Because now, I knew I could walk away completely. I blocked her number. Deleted everything. Let the silence settle in. Some nights I still wonder who sent those pictures. Who sat in that car? Who else she lied to that might still be holding a grudge? But I also know that not every question gets answered. I started going to therapy regularly. Started seeing friends again. I even started dating, slowly, carefully. Trust is hard now, but not impossible. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that love isn't always enough. You can't love someone into being honest. You can't fix what they won't admit is broken. The ending? We didn't speak again. She moved out of state. I heard through someone that she had the baby and gave it up for adoption. She's living with her mom now. Off social media. Quiet. And me? I'm healing. Not there yet, but I'm getting closer. Some scars stay, but at least they remind you of what not to ignore next time.